Hello and good morning, my galactic soul family. How are you this morning? Or wherever you are in the world. I know that there's lots of people that watch my videos from all over the world. So good afternoon and good evening. Actually, by the time my video actually uploads, because I feel like it's going to be a long video, it's probably going to be morning to the, in the places where it's nighttime right now. You like my little Halloween vibe I got going with my little witchy hat, my little spider candle. Look at this. I don't like spiders, but I like things like this. It's not real. I like. The candle that's in here, I made that candle, and um, you see that? Morgan made that for me. She is so talented. She has a beautiful creative mind. She made me this beautiful light lantern. She painted all these pretty leaves on it. I love it. I love Morgan. Thank you, Morgan. I really love it. I love candles, you guys. I like the vibe from a candle. So, today, you guys, I want to talk about shadow work. It's something I've been dealing with for the last couple of months. Actually, we're always going and doing shadow work. But as you guys know, I express, what I'm going through in my witchy vlogs in the morning when I'm driving to work. And it dawned on me, shadow work, just because I've done shadow work before doesn't mean I'm done with it. We're always working on our shadows. So, what else? There was something else that just happened over this weekend, and I'm talking about my weekend, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, not Friday, Saturday, Sunday. These are my days off. They're weird. Weird days off, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So something happened, and it was brought to my attention, and I was like, oh, wow. So I had this experience, and I had this drama, and I'm going to share it with you guys. It's in the video. I'm going to share it. I just looked at the video. It was 222 duality. Perfect for this video, actually. Okay, so shadow work, you guys. The shadow is something that is a term that we use in the spiritual community. So if you're new, on this journey, shadow work may sound like, ooh, I don't know if I want to work with that. Is it demons? Is it black magic? What is it? It's not. It's not anything that you should be scared of. Shadow work is not referring to demons. It's not referring to black magic or anything like that. It's not referring to ghosts or spirits, even though it feels like you're fighting your own inner demons. It's not an actual demon, okay? So if you're new to this journey, if you're walking this path and you're new to walking on this path, you might be asking, okay, so then if it's not black magic and it's not demons and spirits, then what is it? And also, it's not your actual literal shadow either. And it's not a little evil demon creature that lives inside of you, I promise you. It's just a term that's used in the spiritual community to help you understand this disowned or unconscious part of your personality. That's all it is. All right, guys, so before I go further into the video, would you please give my video a thumbs up? Please, please, pretty, please. By doing so, that actually helps my video stay in the YouTube algorithm, and it will pop up for other people so that they can watch it. You can even give me a thumbs down. It will still keep me in the YouTube algorithm. Having no thumbs does more damage than a thumbs down, honestly. Okay, so let's move on and get into what shadow work is. Now, the shadow is something that was most likely created or developed in your childhood. And I say that because when you're growing up and you're developing and you're becoming a person, an individual human being, that's the plan, is to become an individual human being. Depending on what's going on in your childhood and how much love and support and acceptance and all that yada, yada, yada stuff that you have with your family or, you know, your grandparents or whoever it was that raised you, you know, those people that raised you creates who you will become and what your beliefs of the world will be. Because, for example, if you grew up in a very religious home, you're probably going to grow up being very religious because that's how you were molded to become. Unless you break free from, you know, their care and their ways of thinking, and you start to realize that you can think for yourself and have your own experiences and, you know, all of this beautiful stuff that happens to you when you free your mind and you become your own sovereign human being. If you don't do that, you know, you're most likely going to be molded into the person that you are today unless you are breaking free from that. Not that that's a bad thing. It really helps if you have, so for instance, if you are a very gifted child, like for example, when I was a little girl, I could hear spirit a lot more clear than I hear them now. I could see spirit a lot more clear than I could see them now. And I would tell my family, my mom, my dad, and they would just shoo me away, and they would tell me I watch too much TV or I have a wild imagination. They did not embrace my gifts. They laughed at me. They made me feel crazy. So what did I do? I suppressed my gifts because I felt like, okay, maybe they're right. I'm crazy. I'm nuts. I'm seeing things. I need help. So I beg you guys, if you have children and they are coming to you and they're sharing a story with you about seeing a presence or feeling a presence or hearing spirit, please embrace them. Okay? Don't make them feel crazy, because let me tell you, I didn't understand what I was seeing, even though at times I thought it was normal until it was brought to my attention that it was not normal. And that's when I felt like I was really crazy. When I got into my teen years, I really wanted to check myself into like Bellevue, a place like Bellevue. I really felt like I needed my head examined because I really thought I was insane, because everybody used to tell me that I was going to be insane or I was going to be looked at as an insane person, and that my children would be taken away because I see spirit or because I said I hear spirit. And I was like, oh, wow, I better stop talking about this because I really don't want my kids to be taken away. By the time I was 20, I had 2 kids. I did not want my kids to be taken from me because I was gifted. But I didn't know how to have that confidence of knowing. I didn't know how to I didn't know how to talk about it and be confident about it, because at that point, but by the time I was 20, I really thought something was really, really, really wrong with me. So with that being said, when you're a child and you're having experiences, it doesn't even have to be that you're a gifted person. It could just be anything. When you're a child and you go through something or you feel a certain way, and the way your parents or caregivers or caretakers receive you and then tell you how to be, it could do a lot of damage to you, honestly. Like how mine were. They weren't very supportive of, my gifts. So for me, for a lot of things, that's when your shadow is born, is in your childhood, when you're having childhood experiences. Your shadow will cast this byproduct of a certain interaction that you had with your family, from them projecting their beliefs and understandings of the world onto you. So my parents believed that it was all in my head. There's no such thing as spirits. You can't see them. Once you die, you're dead. I don't know. It was just growing up was hard for me, you guys. I'll use me for another example, because it doesn't always have to be about being gifted, psychically gifted. I don't know if that's a word, psychically gifted. It doesn't have to just be about that. When I was a little girl, when I was like about, I don't know, 6, 7, the way that my parents expressed love to me was not the way that I seen other parents express love to their kids. I wanted hugs. I wanted quality time with my parents. I wanted and craved affection, attention, in an unconditional way, like how I seen my friends' parents do with them. My parents were not huggers. My parents didn't talk to me about, life, the birds and the bees, getting your period, you know, relationship, little crushes. They didn't talk to me. They didn't help me with my homework. I got yelled at if I didn't know how to add something or read a word correctly. It was like it was beat into me. It was like, if you don't get this right, you're gonna be punished. And I would be screamed at. It was just like, I came from a tough home, you guys, believe it or not. And I'm not saying this to get pity. I'm just sharing with you guys. This is, just sharing. So yeah, my parents weren't like tender. They loved me and they loved my siblings, but they showed it in a different way. They showed it by working and paying the bills and putting food on the table. Every once in a while, we would go camping. We would take these family trips and go camping. It'd be once a year. We'd go to Vermont, to Barton, Vermont, in the mountains, and we would camp for a week or two. I was not nurtured. I was always told to toughen up, don't cry, be strong, work hard, be independent, and don't depend on no one, not one person. Do it yourself so you don't have to depend on anybody. However, I was nurturing. I cared for my siblings, especially when my parents divorced. I was the nurturer. I cared for my brother and my sister. I actually raised them. I was 7 years old at this point. Or no, I was 10 years old at this point. I was 7 when they were kind of going through their, it's a process. If you have parents that divorced, or if you yourself have went through a divorce, it's a process. It starts off with unhappiness and all this rocky stuff. So I was 7. And what I remember is my parents were addicted to drugs and alcohol. They were not social drinkers, functional alcoholics, functional drug addicts. And when I say drugs, I'm talking about cocaine. Doing cocaine, smoking cigarettes, or not, well, yeah, smoking cigarettes. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Drinking alcohol. I think I was just going into what I remember. I remember them smoking a lot of cigarettes. They were never home. They worked hard, but they played even harder. I was cooking I learned how to make scrambled eggs when I was like 8. I was 10 years old changing my sister's diapers. Actually, I want to say I was 8 years old because I'm 7 years older than her. She was born and I was helping out. But I do remember having a nanny. I seen my nanny more than I seen my parents. I was like a loving, big, protective mommy sister. I was also a kid, so I was a dreamer. I dreamt and fantasized about, having a better, dreamier, healthier, happier life. I mean, who wouldn't if you were, growing up in the situation I was in? So what I wanted in my life is what I projected to my siblings. So I wanted to be a loving sister, a caring sister. I wanted to be a caring friend, a caring cousin. I was sensitive. I was empathic. I was just young and sensitive. But, coming from the world of my parents, it kind of fucked me up as I grew up. When someone died, my cousin died. Yeah, I was very close to him. I was told to be strong, don't cry. When my grandma died, I was very close to her. I was told to toughen up, don't cry, be strong. I was told just to be the strong one and go around and comfort everybody and tell them that it's going to be okay. It was awkward. It was awkward to have all these sad emotions and not be able to cry, but everybody else was crying. And then I started to look at them like, why are they crying? They have to be tough. They have to be strong. So then, that's what I taught myself, is to wipe away their tears and say, don't cry, be strong, be tough. It's going to be okay. Stop crying. Now, as an adult, I have no idea on how to comfort people, genuinely comfort people. I'm learning. It's awkward, but I'm learning. I can feel all these inner emotions. I just don't know how to, react or act on them. It's really weird. It really is. Like, do I hug you? Do I not hug you? Ooh, hugging feels weird. It's just really strange. It's awkward. As an adult, I just have no idea on how to comfort people. I just don't. It feels weird, and I come off as kind of like a tough guy, but on the inside of me, I'm crying, I'm falling apart, and I'm very sad. For another instance, another example, I just found out that my older daughter has to terminate her pregnancy. Her baby tested positive for something called trisomy 18. It's Edwards syndrome. The baby's missing, organs and orifices and stuff like that. Or I don't know if it's orifices, but it's organs and like their nose, and their body just doesn't develop properly. It's really, really sad. It's really sad. She's about 5 months pregnant. She had all these tests done prior to it, but she needed something that said for sure she has this. So she had some work done where they stick a needle inside her belly and they take a little bit of the baby's urine or the fluid from the sac or something like that. And it came back on Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. It came back Monday that for sure she tests positive. And they did another ultrasound. The baby's not growing very big. And just sad. It's really sad. It's her first baby. And it's just sad. So, I don't know how to comfort her. I feel deeply for her. I just want her to be strong, but also more properly. She knows that she has my support. I think she knows, no matter what, she has my support. Now you can see how our shadow side can creep in and, really fuck shit up. I did not share, what I'm sharing with you guys. I'm not sharing for pity. I'm just sharing so that you can see that, there are real life situations going on around us, even in this spiritual community. There are real life situations revolved around shadow work. These are my real examples, my real stories. These aren't just, kindergarten, little kindergarten, stupid little stories. These are real life situations because you're a real life person having and dealing with real life situations, For me, I have a problem because my sensitive side was not being accepted by my parents. Not even just my sensitive side, even my gifted side. So I have some massive work to do. And there's a lot of things that weren't accepted by my parents. And not even just my parents, other people. Because I was raised by not just my parents. I was raised by a community of people because we had a community of people in our house. So we always had strange people around. So I was, kind of raised by just randoms sometimes. And I know how that sounds. It sounds like my house was a crack house, but it wasn't. I had a nice home. I lived in the suburbs. We just had, I always had uncles at my house, or my dad's close friends, or my cousin, my dad's cousin. I always had people around, but these people just had a problem. But you know what? I'm alive and I'm well today. And I hold no grudges with my parents. They're human. They had to figure shit out in life, and, they regret it. I know they do. They've talked about it. They did the best that they knew how back then. And that's all I have to say about that. I have no grudges. What happened, happened. I wasn't the best mom either. I was a young mom. And the way I was raised is what I projected onto my children. I wasn't a drug addict or anything like that, but other ways. So we'll get into that because I'm going to talk more about that. So I have massive work to do for myself. I have repressed and, not accepted my sensitive side, my gifted side. And I'm aware that I have been aware. And now I have a shadow. I have a huge, giant shadow. And it's just going to grow bigger and bigger if I fail to do the work. If I ignore it, it's just going to keep growing because I'm going to keep feeding it. I have to face my shadows. And this is something that I've been doing over the last few years when I realized I have to do shadow work, when I was introduced to the term shadow work. Our shadow, some people, they face their shadow and they go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist and they talk about shit. So I really don't feel that people need to go to a psychiatrist and talk about shit. You just need to talk about it with yourself. If you're journaling, I'm going to get into it. By the end of the video, you'll understand what I mean. You could save yourself money and not have to go and talk to somebody and worry if they're going to lock you up. I've never trusted, talking to a psychiatrist because I always felt like if you said the wrong thing, that they document it with the government and then they can lock you up. I don't trust people in that field. I really don't. If they did it in a genuine way and it canceled out the government, then yeah. I understand that sometimes people will email me and they talk to me. I feel like it's better to talk to somebody that's actually going through it or went through it, not talk to somebody that was trained to deal with it. You need to talk to people that go through real life shit to get better advice or guidance. Not somebody that went to college to get a degree. It bugs me when people go to an AA counselor. They talk to a drug counselor or an alcohol counselor, and that drug counselor is probably 20 years younger than the person that's going to see them and has no real life experience of what it's like to be a drug addict or an alcoholic. But they went to school for it, so they trained for it. They're trained to see the signs. But honestly, you guys, no, you can't. It's night and day. It's night and day. If these places just hired real people that had real problems, not real people, but people that had real life, drug and alcohol problems, those are the people that the people that are struggling with the addiction really need to talk to those people. They've kicked habit and they're living life clean. Those people are the ones that would recognize and understand what it feels like of, what the person, their client, is going through. I hope that made sense. Sorry, I'm kind of like, jumping off subject a little bit. Now, back to shadow work. Our shadow is our unconscious side of our personality born in childhood. That's what happened to me. My shadow was born in childhood. The shadow is any part of you that you do not see, acknowledge, or accept in yourself. You guys, I have shadows with a Z. No joke. I really do. I've spent years and years shining light on my shadow or shadows. It's not really shadows with a Z. It's just a shadow that just keeps growing bigger and bigger and bigger. So I've spent years shining my light on my shadow, trying to shrink it. I've been shadow boxing for a very long time. Now, your shadow is not just your personality. It does not just exist in your psyche. The shadow is multifaceted. The shadow can exist outside of your mind. It's not just a mind phenomena. It's multifaceted, and it's present in various parts of you, in different aspects of you. In order to fully heal and integrate the shadow, we have to understand what is triggering you and why. The bigger it is, the harder it's going to be to clear it. Trust me, I know. I know. A few years ago, I started yoga to help me heal. It really did so much for me, you guys. It really did. And I'll tell you why. Your chakras are a big deal, okay? Your chakras have their own consciousness. This is true. I know it's true because when I do yoga, I get these little balls of light orbs, that fly around me. They're balls of consciousness. That's what they are. And they would float around me even more when I did yoga. I've caught blue ones on camera, green ones, purple ones, white ones, shiny silver ones. At first, they're beautiful. At first, I thought they were spirits. Maybe some of them are. But for the most part, they're not all spirits. They're consciousness. It's consciousness. And I believe they're different aspects of me. And they were like dancing around me when I was doing yoga. I don't know if any of you are able to, if you're able to understand fully what I'm saying when I say that it's different aspects of me, my chakras, they all have their own consciousness. And it's like when I was doing yoga, I was doing something with my body and the energy that my chakras would like come outside of my body and just dance around me. And it was like a beautiful dance that we did together. That's just how I feel. I don't know if that's true. I'm just sharing with you guys and expressing with you guys how I felt when I was doing yoga and what I feel those orbs of light were. So back to the chakras. Each chakra has their own consciousness. They all think independently of each other. So let's rewind it back to little Gabbie, little sensitive Gabbie. I started to create my shadow by shutting down certain parts of me when I was younger. I did not show emotion because I was told not to show emotion. I was told to be tough, be strong. So what I was doing was I was creating a miscommunication with my body, and it caused blocks within my flow of energy. Now, after a while, those blocks manifested into pain, manifesting real life 3D body issues. But I'll save that for another video. Something we'll talk about chakras another time and talk about that. So by me doing yoga, I was aligning and balancing out of my energy flow. Yeah, I was aligning and balancing out my energy flow. I was releasing blockages or working on releasing blockages. And then my conscious mind was aware of my unconscious mind. Eventually, that's what happened. I started to become aware of my unconscious mind. My chakras were talking to me. They were talking to my body. It was body language. I started to wake up different aspects of me, and I was able to communicate with different aspects of me. That's why I say that your chakras have their own consciousness, because I was consciously aware of what was going on within each of my chakras, and I realized they're conscious, because if this one is not working properly, it's consciously aware that it's not working properly, and all of a sudden it starts to get sick, shut down, lose its light, and blockages start to appear. I started to realize a lot of shit that was suppressed, and it created or manifested other shit into my reality. I started to realize that because I was emotionless, it was blocking my heart chakra. That's what I mean when I say your chakras are conscious, because they're consciously aware that I was not showing or expressing emotion. So my heart chakra was like, okay, it's time to shut down. She's not using me. We're aware that she's purposely suppressing her love, her emotion, her sensitive side. So my heart chakra was like, okay, it's time to dim the light and shut down. And then it kind of like started to, like, it's like a disease when you get a block. It creates like, it gets dark. What happens to things, this is probably a bad analogy, but what happens to a piece of food that falls on the floor and rolls underneath the dark refrigerator? It starts to grow moldy. That's kind of like what was happening to my heart. It's like I stopped using it, and it went into a dark place, and it started to grow moldy. My moldy heart. And it was causing issues, and it was causing real life issues, like heart issues. I was getting palpitations, and all kinds of crazy stuff was happening. I was suppressing my sensitive side so much that it shut down my heart chakra and created a blockage. All because I was told to toughen up when I was a little girl. Don't cry, toughen up. I had to be this tough guy. Love in my life was shown to me in other ways. Like, my parents were like, I have food on the table, be grateful. You have a roof over your head, be grateful. So that was their way of expressing love. When something emotional happened, it was life. Just accept it. That's how it is. Don't cry about it. To this day, even when I talk to, oh, my light's going out. Even to this day, sometimes when I talk to my brother, he goes, it's life. Why are you going to cry about it? So-and-so died. It's life. Get over it. I'm like, wow, he's still affected. Still affected by the trauma from, our childhood. It's really sad. It does. It really, really can screw you up, because it screwed me up in a lot of ways. It becomes a domino effect. It starts to screw you up in so many other ways, because other parts of your body start to shut down, and then other things start to happen to you. Again, oh look, 3333. Validation, you guys. That was the video timestamp that I was just talking about, the 3333. So now, the shadow is not all in my psyche. It's now present in my body, in my chakras. I shut down my heart chakra. I did this, okay? My sensitivity, my compassion, my empathy, my love was all shut down. I was an angry, hot mess, a meanie, a rager. I was creating or forcing all of my other chakras to close down because I wasn't using them properly. All because of my shadow that was born in my childhood. Not only can your shadow, be created at childhood, it could also be created from past life trauma or drama. So you guys, your shadow could be really, really big and you don't even know it. The shit that you're dealing with in your life could be because of what carried over from a past lifetime, and then, you know, grow a little bit bigger from this lifetime because you're feeding it, because you know, more of it is being created or fed at your childhood. So maybe that's where the term shadows, maybe that's why I feel like I have shadows, because I have many shadows that, you know, came over with me from past lifetimes into this lifetime, and it's things that I have to work out, and then I bore another one in this lifetime. So maybe that's why I feel like I have more than one shadow, because I really do feel like I have more than one shadow, even though I'm talking about one shadow just growing bigger. I don't know for sure. Maybe we do have multiple shadows from multiple lives, multiple aspects of ourselves. Now, most of us have been here for many, many times, and your soul has had many, many lifetimes if you've, you know, been around, if you're an old soul. Your shadow could also have been born in a past life, and you may be dealing with parts or aspects of shadow work from previous lives, and they're just rolling over into this lifetime. Like I just said, for the record, I do past life readings, you guys. So if any of you are ever interested in looking into this or going deeper, you know, we could talk about that if you just shoot me an email. I have done some past life stuff on myself. That's why I've been, you know, digging deeper by doing, going into my, you know, numerology and astrology. I'm awful at astrology, but I have another one of my sea stars out there, Bev. She does astrology, and I just got my birth certificate with my birth time stamp on there. Let me tell you guys, knowing what time you were born really makes a humongous difference, because everything that I thought I was, I'm not. It's totally different. I was not born at 12:30 p.m. I was born at 10:20 p.m. Huge difference. Huge difference. It changed a lot of stuff. And that really helps me out, because I feel like astrology holds these hidden keys to your current life, and, you know, go beyond that. Numerology too. But anyways, back to shadow work. So, yeah. So a lot of your shadow could be rolling over. All of these different shadow aspects of yourself could have all rolled over into this lifetime, creating one big, ginormous, gigantic, humongous shadow, or multiple shadows. Now, the soul programs, and it programs unhealed stuff from the past into your current life, into this life, so you can deal with it and heal it. So all of those other shadows that rolled over from past lifetimes into this lifetime was programmed by your soul to roll over into this lifetime, so that you could heal it. You had to deal with it, work on it, and that's how you heal it. I talked about this healing stuff in one of my videos. I think I called it the victim control dynamic or something like that. I really don't remember what the title of my video was. It does have something to do with being the victim, and you know, the victim control dynamic, gaslighting, stuff like that. I did this video a long time ago. If I remember, I'll try to link it somewhere in this YouTube video. So in that video, I talked about forgiveness. And if you hold a grudge with someone in this lifetime, and you don't deal with it, and you don't heal it, an aspect of your soul, the shadow, will follow you into your next life. So you see how your soul programs this to happen? It programs it to follow you into your next lifetime, because it's unhealed stuff from your past that's going to follow you into your future life, so that you can deal with it and heal it. You don't want to deal with that. At least I don't. I really don't. So I'm aware and I acknowledge everything that I'm aware of what I'm aware of now, and I'm acknowledging it, and I'm dealing with it because I don't want it to follow me into my next lifetime. Fuck that. I'm done. This lifetime, I'm like, let's just deal with it all and get it, let's get it over with. Let's end this cycle. Let's get it out of here. I need a small little tiny shadow. Actually, I don't need a shadow anymore. I don't want a shadow anymore. Like, leave me alone. But yeah, if you don't deal with it, it's just going to follow you in another lifetime. So if you're dealing with a person that is just a big a-hole and you don't forgive them, and if you don't let go of that grudge, they're just going to follow you into your next lifetime. They might even manifest as your mom or your sister or your husband or wife. Do you want that? I sure don't want that. I'm dealing with it now, so I don't want that. I'm dealing and healing. And your soul does this on purpose. It programs these aspects of the shadow so that you can finally see it and integrate it, unite with it, become whole. Wholeness is one. That's the goal. Wholeness is one. Now, to be clear, shadow work is not negative work. It's not meant to be negative. It's not meant to be looked at as negative. It's not supposed to be negative. It's not a bad thing or a negative thing. Even though there are certain aspects of it that seem like it's negative, it seems like it's happening to you, it's not. It's happening for you. Those challenges, those lessons are all blessings. They will be blessings. You have to look at it like that. You can't look at it as negativity, even though it feels negative. I like to look at life like this. If it feels negative, if it's happening to me, I change my perspective and tell myself it's happening for me. And then I ask, what is it trying to show me? What is it trying to tell me? It has positive qualities, even though it may feel like it's a negative shadow. It contains who you truly, truly, truly are. It contains your true potential, your gifts and your talents that you have not revealed yet. Your shadow, believe it or not, is set in place sometimes to help you wake up and become the light worker warrior that you are meant to be in this lifetime, or maybe your next lifetime. I don't know. But for me, it's this lifetime. Sometimes, you guys, your shadow is really just Mr. Miyagi teaching you discipline and awareness of self so that you can face the world around you and protect yourself from low vibrations, which are your enemies in this upcoming awakening. So wake up, people. Wake up. Wax on, wax off. Mr. Miyagi is the light warrior master training you. Look at it that way. Your shadow is operating outside of your conscious awareness in the form of unconscious beliefs, energy imprints. It has an agenda. Your shadow can affect your life in many, many ways. It can affect your behavioral and your life experiences. It could really do some damage. People that can see energy can most likely see somebody's shadow. I can see energy, and let me tell you, I'm going to share something with you guys. It might be a little personal or whatever, but you know what? This is what I do. So I'm going to share with you. This past weekend, I had some family drama. I seen my sister's shadow yesterday, and wow. She had a total meltdown. So long story short, I'm not going to go into the details because it's just crazy. I come from one of those families that my family is not a loving family. There's a lot of hate in my family, you guys, and I don't know how it was cut from the same cloth. I really don't. 4, 4, 4, 4. Wow, check that out. Um, I don't know. I love my family and I wish it wasn't like that, but I guess it's something that they have to go through. So yeah, this past weekend, my sister had a total meltdown. So long story short, I seen her shadow. Actually, I feel like I seen her demons. I feel like her shadow, her shadow looked like a demon. It looked like a huge dark shadow man, a big huge demon. And what I seen around her is this. They were pulling her body into these angry positions. And she was saying very, very, very mean and disturbing, just wicked mean stuff towards my older daughter. Her shadow grew like 8 feet around her, not just tall, but around her. It was just ugly and dark, gray, black, murky, ugly, and dark. Okay, it's like the shadow manifested and it was her. It wasn't even her. It was that shadow, like, I don't know. It was crazy. She picked up a fire stick poker that had the pokey thing on it. It looked like a spear. She went like after my daughter to hold it in her hand to be threatening as she was yelling, but she actually went to attack my daughter's boyfriend with it, which wasn't doing anything. He ran away. And these are kids, you guys. My daughter is 22 and I believe her boyfriend's 21. They're just kids. All right. I'm not going to go into the family drama as to why she did this. She just did this. It was almost like I witnessed possession. Maybe I did. I don't know. By the way, when someone's shadow is controlling them, it's best to, if you're aware of this, it's best to stay calm and not poke the bear, so to speak. Okay. I don't know how I was able to sit so still. Hold on. My husband's texting me. I just don't want him to interrupt my video by calling. I told him I was recording in the living room. Okay. So, what was I saying? I don't know how I was able to stay so still. I was calm. And it's weird because my husband's like, how are you so calm and still? If somebody was like that with my daughter, I would have hurt him. And what I said to my husband was like, you can't argue with an alcoholic. You can't be sober and argue with an alcoholic. You just can't, because they have no sense. So what's the point of arguing? She gets loud, I get louder, she gets louder, and then somebody's going to get hurt because somebody's loudness is going to turn and manifest into physical anger. And, who needs that? I don't know. I was totally guided. I was protected. I felt like I was in a bubble of protection. And it was like I was being shown this, like it was a movie playing out. I really don't know. It was just weird. It was like I was having an out-of-body experience. I don't know. It just happened. When you ignore your shadow, it can manifest into something very bad. If like her, I feel like she's been ignoring her shadow, and this is what it manifested into, something very, very, very bad. So I was watching all of this. It was in slow motion playing out around me. I felt protected, but my body was I felt my physical body, it felt like it was in fight or flight mode, but I felt protected. Now, my sister kind of inspired me to do this video today with you guys. I seen her shadow. The shadow can destroy you. And I know this because I saw it. The shadow can literally destroy you. It could land you in prison or even provoke you to kill somebody or kill yourself. None of that happened, by the way. But I can see how your shadow can escalate and turn you into something that you're not. And it was bad. However, the whole situation was de-escalated by my sweet, loving husband. Again, I'm not going to explain her meltdown unless I feel guided to in another video, but it was definitely family drama. I'm as real as it gets, you guys, and I talk about real life shit. This is me. This is what you get when you watch my videos. It's a part of my healing, is sharing with you guys, you know, this kind of stuff. Even if it sounds like I shouldn't be, I'm doing it anyways. So what I was witnessing with my sister is two parts of my sister. She was fragmenting. I think she was fragmenting. The shadow was very powerful in her. She was two entities. She was my sister, and then she was my evil sister. Well, at least that's how I felt. I seen an aspect of her that wanted to stop. Like when she looked at me at one point when she was yelling and screaming and going insane, something in her eyes was like, help me. Like something was crying out, help me. Like I could see something needed help. I seen sadness. And I seen that in her eyes. But the shadow, as soon as I seen that help me feeling, all of a sudden, the shadow, it's like it grabbed that little, that aspect of her, pulled her away from those windows. And when I say windows, I mean her eyes. She was just like pulled away, and all of a sudden I just seen that shadow looking at me through those eyes. It was creepy. She was definitely triggered by the sight of my daughter. And there's a long story that stems behind that. So, you know, for her, seeing my daughter was definitely a trigger for her. They do not get along. Well, my sister does not want to get along with her niece, which is my daughter, and forgive her for saying something mean to her 4 years ago. Like I said, family drama. Something went down a couple years ago and some words were said, and everybody else was forgiven except for her. This is a good example of how your shadow could affect you. It could literally change your life and make it chaotic. Okay? And not only chaotic, it could harm your body. It could start to make your body physically ill, physically damage you. It could change your life completely. Could you guys, for a second, could you imagine if she took that poker stick and she just stabbed somebody with it? She could have hurt somebody really, really bad. If her shadow was a little bit bigger and a little bit more angrier, I think she would have been totally capable of stabbing somebody unconsciously but consciously with that poker stick. That person would have been hurt really, 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 really bad, and she could have hurt them or killed them. That trigger, that shadow is not from her childhood. It can't be from her childhood. It's got to be something from a past life that rolled over into this life, and something from childhood just made it bigger. She's feeding it. That angry meltdown that she had, she was feeding that shadow. That shadow was fucking feasting, you guys. It was like, darkness. There was a lot to it, spiritually speaking. The shadow has the potential to destroy you. That's why it needs to be acknowledged and worked on. The shadow could also be the reason her childhood, hold on, my husband's giving me coffee.
Love you.
Thank you, love you. What was I saying? Oh man, I lost my train of thought here. So her shadow has the potential to destroy her. It could have destroyed her that day. That's why it needs to be acknowledged. Just acknowledge and work on your shadows, you guys, because you don't want to hurt yourself or somebody else. I really lost my train of thought. There was something else I wanted to tell you guys, but he walked in, handed me my coffee, and I lost all of my thought. Anyways, your shadow could be your shadow could be very evil if it's not worked on, and you don't deal with it. If you don't deal with it and heal it, it can literally manifest into a demon. Your vibe attracts your tribe. I may have witnessed a tribe fight yesterday, a spiritual tribal war. And it was just bananas, you guys. It was just crazy. Your shadow has its own energy field. I feel like the bigger it is, it has its own energy field. It's like it's another entity. It's an aspect of you, an ethereal aspect of you. We live in an energetic universe. It's resonant based. Okay, we entrain with the energies of the earth. Okay, it's resonant based. So what's going to happen is your shadow is going to use its own vibration to magnetically start magnetizing to itself experiences that resonate with the vibration of the shadow. That's why grounding is so important. Your shadow will start to attract all kinds of drama and chaos and painful experiences into the current moment, into your life. Energy flows where attention goes. Keep that in mind. The easiest way to recognize your shadow side is probably through projections, because projections are very easy to see. You can hear them. You can watch them play out. Start to pay attention to how you outwardly project yourself to the outside world. The way that you project to the outside world is very revealing when it comes to the revealing of the shadow. All the projections that you throw out are actually mirrors of yourself. They are a reflection of yourself. So pay attention to your projections and how you see the world and how you see others. Sorry, I had to take a sip of my coffee. Make sure I don't spill my other one. So, whatever you see, whenever you are experiencing another person pointing at you and yelling at you and just going off on you, maybe that's a mirror of you. If you dislike something in another person, you're noticing something in another person, and you don't like it, it's because it's in you. If it wasn't in you, then you would not be bothered by it. It wouldn't bother you in any way. So pay attention to projections. It's an easy way to recognize your shadow. Like I said, when you find yourself pointing, yelling, and going crazy, you're projecting. You're projecting something. When you see somebody else doing that towards you, they're projecting something. And if you see something that you don't like in somebody else, it's because it's inside of you. Another way to recognize your shadow is through emotional triggers. Pay attention to what triggers you. If you keep a journal, this will simplify things for you and help you out a little bit. It'll help you put the puzzle pieces together. Triggers will reveal your wounds and your shadow self. So pay attention to your emotional reactions when you're having one, to your emotional triggers. Document what it is that is coming up when you're being triggered. What is your emotional response? Is it jealousy? Is it envy? What's causing that? Insecurities? I don't know. Why? So keep a journal and document this stuff, and then you can ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? And that will help you start to heal your shadow so that you can integrate it. That's you dealing with it, healing it, integrating. When you start to do shadow work, you'll be able to recognize these emotional triggers when they pop up in your life. Then you'll be able to catch yourself before you have an emotional reaction or a meltdown. And you'll want to take a big deep breath when you're about to have an emotional meltdown. And you're going to want to ask yourself, what is triggering me right now? Why am I feeling this? What's going on? And try to recognize it. Is it fear? Most likely it's fear. It's almost always fear. But what's causing that fear? Is it fear of losing your power? Is it fear of not being wanted? Is it fear of abandonment? Is it fear of being alone? Fear of what? Fear, and why? Dig deeper. Go within. Ask yourself questions. When you become aware of the shadow takes over. I'm sorry, I meant to say when you are unaware of the shadow takes over. Not when you're aware of it. When you're aware of it, it doesn't take over. When you are unaware of the shadow takes over. And it will do this until you become aware of the shadow. When you become aware of the shadow, you'll be able to heal it and shine light on it and shrink it from this huge, ginormous, angry, dark entity. You'll be able to shrink it and shrink it and shrink it as you shine more light onto it. Another way to recognize your shadow is through repeating patterns and experiences in your life. Pay attention to patterns in your life that keep repeating themselves. Your shadow is trying to show you something. Your shadow is trying to tell you something by putting you through a repeating pattern or experience. It's like, hey, don't you remember? You've done this before, and what was the outcome? And so it will, each time you go through a repeating pattern or experience, it gets worse and worse until you can figure out why. Do some introspection work. What?
Where's Minerva?
She just walked into the bathroom.
She didn't even come here. Usually she comes up to me and Trader Joe, now I'm leaving. I'm going to the treehouse.
Okay. He's wondering where Minerva is. Usually Minerva goes running to him for snacks. What else can you do? Do some introspection work, some self-analyzing. It's time to examine or observe your own mental and emotional process. Ask yourself, what do I dislike about myself? Then write it down. What parts of yourself do you judge? And why do you judge those certain parts of yourself? You need to write that down. What parts of yourself do you fear? What are you afraid of? Write it down. This introspection is a way of showing yourself self-love. You're doing an inner inspection of yourself. You're going within and you're inspecting. I kind of look at it like a car inspection. You gotta inspect your car to see why it's not running properly, and you gotta make sure that it's running properly so it doesn't do damage on the road to anybody else out there. You know what I mean? So show yourself some self-love. Do some introspection work, some self-examinations. Our goal is we want to integrate with, this shadow. We want to become one. We want to become whole. That is the goal, is to become whole, to integrate, to heal. You want to become one with your shadow. You want to bring more light into your shadow. You want to shine light into all the dark aspects of yourself. When you do this, the darkness just fades away. Love your shadow. Accept it. Surrender to it. Become one with it. Big shadow, bad. Small shadow, good. Shine your beautiful, beautiful lights, you starseeds. Shine your lights, you light warriors. Shine your lights, you light workers, onto your shadow. Be love. Express unconditional love to yourself Accept yourself and your limitations. No matter what they are, accept yourself. Just accept where you are today. Don't be afraid to be yourself, and don't be afraid to express yourself. Self-acceptance. Observe what's going on in your life with yourself without judgment. If you receive a negative thought, don't judge it. Judgment is a form of non-acceptance. Don't criticize it either. Just observe it and acknowledge it and say thank you, and then swipe it away. Don't think any more of it. Don't go deeper into it. Accept, acknowledge, okay, boom, gone. So that was my video on shadow work and shadows. So I'm loving you, all of you guys, all of you starseeds out there, and I'm sending you and your shadows lots of love and light to illuminate that darkness. And again, if anyone is interested in a past life reading and would like to go deeper, dig deeper, and understand, maybe it'll help you understand your shadow, send me an email. My email address is down below in the description area. I do the past life readings by donation only. If anyone feels guided to donate to my channel, all of my, well, not all of my, but I do use Cash App and I do use PayPal, and that is in the description area down below. But for those of you that have been following me for a really long time, know that my favorite donation is a time donation. A time donation is you using your time to write me or send me a letter or a postcard or something that you made or colored or painted. That is a time donation, and I love your time donations. I appreciate them. I really do. I'm so grateful for the ones that I have received. I have them all. My mom has read some of them, and she thinks it's beautiful. I really do love your time donations, and I really do love all of you guys too. And I really do appreciate that you listened to my video. And sorry, I sounded a little sidetracked at the end of the video. It's just that my husband walked in and he's trying to talk to me without talking and using words. He's like mouthing so I can read his lips, and I'm horrible at that. I mean, I do, when I talk to people, I like to read their lips when I'm talking to them, and it helps me hear them because I am a little bit hard of hearing. But when there is nothing coming out of your mouth and you're just over there, you know, that, like moving your lips, trying and pointing and doing things like a guessing game, I'm awful at that. So I'm like quiet. So I was quiet for a second there. I don't want you guys to think I fell off or something. I was just trying to understand what the hell my husband was trying to tell me. He was imitating himself going outside to the treehouse. Finally, he just said it. I don't know if you guys heard it. He said, I'm going to the treehouse. So yeah, it's time for me to hop in the shower. This video is, it's over an hour long. Most of my videos are over an hour long. But yeah, that was my video on shadow work. So everything I'm dealing with at work is shadow. It's my shadow. And what I witnessed with my sister, I don't feel like that was anything that had to do with me and my shadow or anything I manifested into my life, but it was awareness, definitely awareness. That was definitely me years ago, and I got to see an aspect of me play out, and now I got to see it through the eyes of sane, of being sane. I feel like that's really what played out in front of me, and I got to see emotions on a different level that I didn't get to see before when I was a little asshole shadow demon, you know, melting down and scaring people years ago. I've changed a lot of my ways throughout the years, you know, just growing up, growing older, becoming more mature, and becoming more aware, being more mindful, walking this beautiful journey, and not physically meeting a lot of my soul fam out there, but, you know, spiritually meeting a lot of my soul fam out there. Being on YouTube and sharing stories with you guys. And it's just a beautiful experience, and it's really life-changing for me. Working on my energy and my chakras has been life-changing for me. I'm still a work in progress. I really am. And by me doing these videos and sharing with you guys my real life, sharing real life examples with you guys is just showing you that I'm authentic. I'm real. And I'm not giving you kindergarten examples of, when John and Mary got into an argument at the bus stop. You know what I mean? I'm giving you real life shit because you're a real life person listening to this and you're going through some real life issues, not some John and Mary shit standing at the bus stop. So I love you guys. I really do appreciate you watching my videos and taking your time to sit here and just listen to me. I am very grateful. I truly am. Again, I'm sending you all lots of love, lots and lots of light. And if you ever feel like you need somebody to talk to for advice to help you get through some shit, I'm here for you. And if I can't help you, I have a huge spiritual family. If I'm not able or capable of helping you in any way, I'm at least capable of advising you to talk to another one of my soul sisters or soul brothers in this soul family that I am in. I love you guys. Stay hydrated and stay positive. Bye.